Smart people don't sound smart. They don't use big words. They don't talk the most. They're not trying to impress anyone. Pause, but when they speak, people listen. Not because they are louder, not because they talk longer, but because something about the way they speak feels different. There is one thing smart people do every single time they talk. Once you notice it, you can't unsee it. And once you use it, people respond to you differently. Your words carry more weight. Your presence feels stronger. And conversations start working in your favor. Kill the myth. Most people believe smart people talk fast. They think intelligence sounds rushed. They believe smart people talk a lot. More words, more explanations, more noise. They believe smart people use complex language, big terms, fancy phrases, complicated sentences. But here's the truth. Talking fast is usually anxiety. Talking too much is usually insecurity. Overcomplicated language is usually overcompensation. None of that signals intelligence. It signals uncertainty. Real intelligence feels calm, clear, controlled. So if that is not what smart people do, here is what they actually do when they speak. Reveal the core idea. The one thing smart people do is simple but powerful. They pause before they speak. Not awkward silence, not freezing. An intentional pause. That pause says, I am thinking. It says, I am in control. It says, my words matter. Pauses signal confidence without saying a word. They show emotional control. They make people lean in instead of tuning out. Psychology shows this clearly. The human brain values what is not rushed. We trust information that feels considered, not forced. When someone speaks too quickly, the brain feels pressure. When someone pauses, the brain feels certainty. Smart people let that pause do half the work for them. Why pausing works? Fast talkers usually sound anxious. Even when they are smart, their words feel rushed and unstable. Slow, controlled speech feels different. It feels deliberate. It feels confident. It feels like the person knows exactly what they are saying. Pausing gives your brain space to think clearly. It allows you to choose better words instead of filler. It helps you avoid saying things you do not mean. That small moment of silence prevents mistakes. It sharpens your message. It makes your voice feel grounded. People trust what sounds controlled. They respect what feels intentional. Smart people understand this. They do not rush to fill the silence. They let silence do part of the talking. Real-life comparison. Picture this. Two people are asked the same question. Person A answers immediately. They rush their words. They explain too much. They keep talking, trying to sound right. Person B pauses just for a moment. Then they speak clearly and directly. Both give similar answers. But people trust person B more, not because the content is better, but because the delivery feels calm and controlled. Before intelligence is proven, it is felt. And the way you speak decides that feeling. The hidden power of silence. Silence creates authority. It signals that you are not nervous, that you are not scrambling for approval. Silence creates space. Your words land instead of getting lost. People have time to process what you say. Silence creates impact, especially in interviews, meetings, and arguments. When emotions rise, silence lowers the temperature. It gives you the upper ground without force. The smartest person in the room is usually the calmest. What pausing prevents? Pausing protects you from your own impulses. It stops you from oversharing information that did not need to be said. It prevents you from explaining too much, from adding extra words that weaken your point, from talking yourself into a corner. Pausing also saves you from regret, from emotional responses, from words you cannot take back once they are spoken. Psychologically, that pause gives your brain time to filter. It separates emotion from logic. It lets the rational mind step in before the mouth reacts. Smart people understand this. They do not speak to release tension. They speak with intention. That is why their words feel precise. Smart people edit before they speak. How to use this instantly? You can use this immediately. No training, no special skill. First rule, take one breath before you respond. That single breath slows your nervous system and clears your mind. Second rule, use short sentences. Say what matters, then stop. Do not decorate your message. Third rule, end sooner than you think you should. Silence after a strong point makes it stronger. Practice this daily. Pause after someone asks you a question. Pause before you disagree with someone. Pause when you feel emotional or triggered. That pause gives you control back. It changes the entire tone of the conversation. You do not need better words. You need better timing. This changes how people treat you. When you start pausing before you speak, people treat you differently. They begin to respect your words because you do not waste them. They wait for your opinion instead of talking over you. Your silence makes your voice feel valuable. People take you more seriously, not because you became louder, but because you became calmer. The reason is simple. Pauses signal self-control, and self-control is one of the strongest signals of intelligence. When someone is not rushed, the brain assumes competence. When someone is calm, people feel safe listening. That is why your presence changes before your results do. People trust those who are not in a rush. The mistake most people make. The biggest mistake most people make is filling silence out of fear. They feel uncomfortable when there is a pause, so they rush to talk. They add extra words, extra explanations, extra noise. But silence is not awkward. No, it is powerful. Silence gives your words room to land. It allows people to think about what you just said. It makes your message feel intentional instead of desperate. Reframe how you see silence. Let it breathe. Let it work for you instead of fighting it. When you are comfortable with silence, people notice. They assume confidence. They assume intelligence. If you are calm in the quiet, people assume you are smart. Try this today, just once. Pause before you speak. Notice how conversations slow down. Notice how people listen more closely. Now tell me this. Have you noticed smart people do this? Comment yes or no below. I read the comments. If this changed how you see communication, like the video. And subscribe for psychology that actually works. Not theory, but real life.